welcome to the Don't Break the Oath podcast. This is episode 1, and today we'll be talking about UFOs, some cases, and then just UFOs in general. I'm joined here today with Stig.
Hello.
And right, let's get to it. So I don't want to talk straight about Roswell and cases like that where everyone's said a million times. So I thought today we'd start off with a little known case that happened in Pembrokeshire, Wales, which is in the UK for those who don't know, and it's the Broadhaven case. Now, are you familiar with this case?
Not really, no.
So that's why I wanted to do it. So basically, what happened is there was a UFO was spotted in a field adjacent to a school by up to 14 children. Now, the children's ages ranged from 10 to sort of 8, I think, was the thing. Now, straight away you're thinking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
10-year-old children, what, are they going to really know what a UFO is? But I guess, like, when you're 10-year-old, you do know a bit.
You do, it's called TV.
Yeah. And it's happened in 1977, though. But even though, I mean, there weren't that many. I mean, that was sci-fi era, but.
To Wales, it's open, isn't it? So.
Yeah, but you think if it was just making it up, they're going to say flying saucer, aren't they?
Yeah, you would have thought so. Yeah.
And that's
or
why.
Spaceship or
Yeah,
like that,
so when I get to the description, you'll be surprised. So it all came out because one of the lads was called David Davis, and he was 10-year-old at the time. He reported it to his parents, and they subsequently reported it to the local. What was his name? He was Randall Jones Pugh, and he was a member of the British UFO Research Association, known as Buford, is it?
Yeah, Buford, yeah.
So that's where we get the report from, mainly of this. Now, some of the children did report seeing figures, so that's unusual. Right, going into what Pugh recorded at the time, this is the first witness, David Davis. He said they were standing at the top of the end of the school playing field, watching a bush where the object was sighted. A lad called Flip was with him, and they was trying to get a closer look, and they came up from the bush, and out popped a cigar-shaped object. There you go, cigar-shaped object, you know?
Yeah, definitely. That reminds me of what Nuremberg, 1561, was. Some guy called... Oh, fuck, fell, man. Alright, delete that, mate. Delete that.
Start again what you're saying.
Nuremberg, Germany, April 1561. It's well known by people, should know it. Stars, crosses, cylinders, cigar-shaped cylinders, all fighting each other in the sky, crashing and that. And this is in 1551, and some of the people said it's a frightening spectacle. Skies appeared to fill cylindrical objects from which red, black, and orange and blue-white discs and globes emerged. Crosses and tubes resembling cannon barrels also appeared whereupon objects promptly began to fight one another. What's funny?
Yeah, so there you're talking about a mothership.
Yeah, pretty much, but you don't see them, hear about them.
No, you sort of missed
UFOs anymore.
For quite a while. I missed out cigar-shaped objects. Now we're sort of going back into the 21st century, but you got what's that? Is it 15th century? Or something?
Yeah, 14th century.
14th century. So you got
1561. 15th
so you've got like you've got a cigar-shaped object there. But the interesting thing about that Nuremberg case there that happened over there was that they're said to be cigar-shaped objects, saucer-shaped objects, and cross-shaped objects in the sky.
You don't see the
cross ones anymore. Cross-shapes in the sky. So it just makes you wonder who actually won
that. Yeah, but like I say, they can't not lie about it. It's
1561. Even in the depiction, and like there was a thing in the paper at the time, and they even show objects crashing to earth on fire.
Yeah,
you know,
it's all crazy.
So that seems a little bit genuine. That one.
Yeah, it was a woodcutter by Hans Glaser.
These sort of ones.
Yeah, 1566 of the 1561 event of Nuremberg, so we saw it.
Anyway, so getting back to this, Dave Davis, like I say, so he saw a cigar-shaped one, which is, like I say, for a 10-year-old kid to make up seeing an object like that, which one even think would fly. But he reports seeing it hovering, and he said it was bright and it was humming, and it seemed to be tugging, you know. Anyway, they all ran after that. But the lad that was with him stated seeing a silvery object at ground level. This was about 1:30 after school dinner, and he was still there when he went back about 2 o'clock. So it was there a good half an hour. Them friends and himself asked the headmaster to have a look at the object, but he refused, which he's going to win if you. Yeah. A couple of friends saw a movement of a figure, but he did not. He was frightened though. There's another one. Michael Webb, he saw a silvery and cigar-shaped with a big dome and red light flashing on top. There you go. There's another. You know what I mean? That's three kids saying
as well. Yeah, references to back in 1561.
Kids saying silvery cigar-shaped object. Now, have you seen that footage about the? I think it's filmed from a MiG, a Russian MiG, where they meant to have shot a cigar-shaped object. I think it's on YouTube and stuff.
It's hard to believe what you see on YouTube these days, isn't it?
It's good. It's good footage though. But anyway, so David R. George, he was 9-year-old at the time, but he said he saw both the object and the humanoid. Initially, it was he said 1 o'clock again, and then he saw it again at 3:30. So, so you've got two people there saying it was there for at least an hour, obviously longer.
Yeah.
But he said the object was huge, silvery in colour, it was shining and humming, which we've had before. It looked like a saucer with a point as well, so it's a bit of a different description there. He saw the occupant was in silver suits. We had that before, yeah.
Small greys then, maybe.
So they couldn't see any features apart from they had odd long ears.
Long ears.
It doesn't give a height for the creatures though.
No.
So that's thingy. But the boy said he was frightened and he cried, which you would,
Yeah, if you what, 8, 9.
And then you got Guy Tudor. He was 10. He reported seeing the object at ground level. It was behind the bushes. He said that he also saw a man, and then he became scared and obviously left the area. And then you got Jeremy, who saw the UFO at dinner time, and it was silvery green. It had a yellowy orange to red colour light. I don't know if that means it had a light on it or if it was luminescent. Doesn't make that clear, but again, it's a 9-year-old kid saying this, so you've got to
I'm saying it's more luminescent. Sounds like that.
I would say no one else is saying there was lights over it, and that's another thing with the UFO thing. I meant to ask you about this, but why do UFOs need lights?
You don't.
No. The only reason we have lights is so that other airplanes don't crash into other airplanes. So unless there's like hundreds of UFOs flying around in our atmosphere,
well, probably is. We just don't know about it.
Well, so they might need lights for that reason.
Well, no, it's more of a. Every time people say they see UFOs and they see these bright lights, it's like when landing lights, if you know what I mean. It's like when they slow down and they've stopped or hovering over something and they see them. But when they're gone, they're gone. You don't see a light; it's just gone. Oh, it's weird. It's very weird.
The other thing about this, the UFOs in general, is you've got a situation where people say, what people are seeing in these UFOs. People are saying that they're man-made objects, a lot of them, which some of them
I do believe that we have made our own UFOs, and I'll state that fact.
I think the ones that definitely have triangle-shaped ones are definitely man-made.
It's like watching New X-Files, when they showed you that first episode and about the alien DNA, and they actually took him to a base, and they actually made an actual triangle shape, and then the government destroyed it. It makes sense to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely have made our own.
If not, you're talking about different ship classes. So you're talking about different races. So you've got the cigar-shaped craft here. You've got flying saucer-shaped craft. You've got triangle-shaped craft. They're the most common ones, aren't they?
Yeah, but it's like we could go back to Nuremberg. The cross ones, you don't see them anymore.
No.
So it's like there are these different types of alien lizard people. The ones that look like Vikings, small greys, tall greys, and whatever else are out there. But the thing is, if people say that lizard people are on air, could it be them who got destroyed in Nuremberg? The X ones.
Yeah,
now they're living on the planet because they can't escape because they've got no way of getting out.
Well, there's that. But if there is reptilians, what's the odds on them being actually from the Earth? Because you've got 65 million years between us and the dinosaurs. You've got plenty of time there for something to evolve.
Yeah, you have.
But if it's living underground, I'm not sure it's possible to live underground.
I want to say, innit, really. I want to call. There's a lot of people out there who say they exist. You can't say that they don't because it wouldn't be right, would it?
No, because you're talking about people seeing stuff in the skies before things were flying.
Yeah.
So, we've got people there saying, oh, well, it's this, it's that. I mean, that's just during the day as well.
Even Alexander the Great recorded it.
Yeah, that was
He's recorded some stuff, it was during the day, and he was saying he saw 2 discs in the sky spitting out fire and that. And a few of his troops disappeared, run off.
So that's not Venus.
No.
And that's not the moon.
It's not the moon. And it even says that they helped him in one of his battles.
Yeah.
That they actually helped him. So.
And I've heard other cases of that time as well where there was, and I have to look it up, but there was one, I think it was the Romans, but they said a fiery shield fought for them, and it actually turned this castle wall to melt. It actually melted the rock to be glass, to become glass, and I think it's still there today.
Nothing back in them days that could have done that.
Well, I know they tried to recreate it.
Volcano.
Yeah, there's a couple of places up in Scotland the same thing. They actually piled logs up against this the same rock as what this fort was built with. It's only like a round fort, like it's not massive. But they actually piled logs up and they actually burnt against these rocks. They burnt it for days and days and days and took the logs away and everything, and the ash and it melted a tiny bit, but nothing like.
Yeah, you need some serious heat.
Yeah, so you're talking
like volcanic eruptions.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. It's like they equated it to volcanic.
Not back in.
Obviously, there's no volcanoes in Scotland, is there? So that was ruled out. But you talk other than that, you're talking about nuclear explosion.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
doubt that very much.
But getting back to the ship class idea, so during the 40s, 50s, 60s, the classic UFO that was seen by everyone was a saucer shape. Some of these, like Kenneth Arnold saw, he's famous for saying the flying saucer, but actually what he saw was delta wing shaped craft, and we don't see them very often. I think the Phoenix Lights was a boomerang shaped craft, which is getting on for a delta shape, but apart from that, you don't see them very often. So you've sort of got flying saucers, and then they sort of fade out as the triangles come in, and the cigar-shaped craft. So, is it the same race of aliens if they are alien? Because obviously UFO means you don't know what they are, but you've got to assume that they could be alien. So does the saucer-shaped craft, were the saucer-shaped craft like the scout vehicle, and then like the cigar-shaped craft's your mothership, or your destroyer? Yeah. Should we be worried about?
Should we be worried? Yeah, I think personally myself, different types of ship, different races, because they're not going to have the same ships, are they? They're always going to. Everyone, it's like the human race. Everyone wants to outdo each other. I've got this weapon. Mine's bigger. Mine's better. Mine does this.
But then when you look at humans, and I think humans are pretty unique in the fact that we've got different races all over one planet. I think that's going to be pretty unique in the universe. I'd say most places in the universe, if it's got an intelligent, sentient being, will be that one race type thing. But so we're slightly different in that. But even us looking at the way we've evolved and in war and such like, we all have a tank idea. And all tanks, you can look at a tank and say it's a tank. It don't matter whether it was built by Russia, China,
Germany.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It looks like a tank.
Yeah.
I suppose the only time you really saw a massive difference in technology was during the war when the Germans came out with the first jet fighter.
Yeah.
I know I didn't put it to very good use, but that did look different to the planes we had. Generally, shapes are pretty consistent. So if the Russians have got a plane-shaped plane, then we've got a plane-shaped plane. They don't really...
Yeah, but if you can look at the airplanes in World War One, World War Two, there was always different.
There was still wings, fuselage, wings,
designs, completely different designs.
So
everybody wanted to put their own stamp on it, if you know what I mean.
But if you think about it, we've all come from the same technology basis, haven't we? So obviously it evolves into a point where this is the pinnacle of that point and this is what it looks like. So when you come back to the different styles which you see now from the UFOs, that leads more to me to believe that is more races than classes of ship. That'd be my view on that. And the other thing, like I say, people say that UFOs, a lot of skeptics say that UFOs are man-made. Like I say, that is possible. But then you've got to think about space race,
yes.
and why are we still sending astronauts on what are basically fireworks?
Yeah.
Is that just a front?
Well, they say the moon landing's fake, don't they? So, quite possibly. But why weren't we allowed to go to the dark side of the moon either?
Well, this is the question, isn't it?
It's like, why haven't we revisited the moon? We can fly to the moon, we can get there. Why aren't they? Because obviously they're going to, what was it, all the rage on it back in 60s, or we were going to live on the moon. But why they abandoned that?
Depends who you speak to. I mean,
why would you? I know it costs money in that, but wouldn't you want to one day be able to go, I'm taking a trip to the moon, you know what I mean?
Well, this is what they're trying to do now. There's a guy trying to set it up. He's actually trying to build his own module that will connect to the space station, and then from there he wants to be able to eventually, and he's only talking about a few years' time, to build a base on the moon. But then if you listen to what other people say, some astronauts that come back from the moon that spoke out, some of those have been talking about when they met aliens and they told them they couldn't go back to the moon. So
Why? I mean, they're allowed to visit us on this planet. We're not allowed to branch out. You reckon?
Depends what
they're
they're
keeping us
using.
here.
Depends what they're using the moon for.
That's it.
You know, whether it's a forwarding base for them or
Or an observation post. Keep an eye on us.
that leads us to the cover-up aspect of the whole situation, and the reason it pisses me off. But why would they cover it up? What have they got to gain?
Got two reasons. Like, remember, we was talking the other day, like about is it when we did War of the Worlds?
Orson Welles.
Orson Welles, that's the one. And he read his over the radio, didn't he? And everyone started panicking and that. Yeah, caused panic and chaos. And then something about Ecuador.
Yeah, there was meant to have retried the War of the Worlds on the radio in Ecuador, and that caused mass panic and led to looting, and that was one of the principal reasons why they say that they didn't want to release information because it would cause
panic, looting,
panic,
riots, everything. But then on the other hand, you've got this other side of things. If you release the data and then people start questioning religion,
I think religion is a massive control, definitely, and that if that were to be erased literally
and
overnight,
then people have to start questioning their beliefs. So these people who are visiting us, who made them? You've got to think who made them. So
well, the Vatican's come out and tried to say that recently. The Vatican's come out and tried to say that God might not just necessarily have built man, and he might have put other things out there. So they're trying to cover the bases.
yeah. If it does come out, there's one way you're either going to get riots or everyone's going to go in. Well, everything I believed in is just a load of bollocks. What do I believe in now?
Yeah.
So
that's and that literally happened overnight.
Yeah, it literally would happen overnight. There'll probably be a few things in that, and then it'll be everyone will start destroying each other, trying to kill out each other.
And that's a massive loss of control.
Yeah, it is for everybody.
I think so. That is a big reason, but I think one of the bigger reasons is the military-industrial complex. I think how can you sell weapons to people? Like the UK sells a lot of aeroplanes and stuff to Saudi Arabia and places like that. How can you sell aeroplanes to them, knowing when they know full well that there's better aircraft flying around?
Keep good stuff for yourself, don't you?
Yeah, but you're not going to be able to sell it, are you? You know what I mean? If you've got the top fighter jet, then if you're trying to sell a fighter jet, it's got to be pretty close to that fighter jet before you're going to buy it. Otherwise, there's just no point. It's obsolete. And so once this gets out that there's UFOs coming and they have this wonderful technology that they can perform these right-angle turns at 3,000 miles an hour and nobody turns to soup. And I mean, this has all been documented on radar.
Yeah.
These turns and stuff. So we know it happens.
Project Sigma.
Well, there you go. Yeah, Sigma is all set up to do that.
Eisenhower,
And that was meant to have led to the according to Bill Cooper, who was a former naval intelligence officer until 1975, he believes that Project Sigma was set up in order to communicate with huge extraterrestrial ships that were coming into Earth's atmosphere. They're meant to use some sort of mathematical code to make contact with them, and eventually was able to set up a face-to-face meeting, which President Eisenhower was meant to be at. So
what was the excuse? Something about he had an emergency dental appointment.
Yeah, and then he was missing for
a day.
Yeah, so
he showed up in a church.
This Bill Cooper is an interesting fellow. I mean, he's come out with all this, and this leads on to what I was saying earlier about why the cover-up, and he's made one of the best cases for the cover-up. He said that during his time as a naval officer there, he was privy to some information where there was a couple of UFO retrievals where bodies were retrieved. So we know there was alien. This weren't a Russian craft or anything like that. And a couple of those UFOs that were, like I say, retrieved actually had human body parts in them. So that's a good reason to try and keep it all covered up, if that's true.
Yeah, definitely. So there you go. There it is. Panic.
Yeah, that's serious. But it's like the MOD in England. They always come out with this statement: "No defence significance." Well, something that's in your airspace that you've got no control over. To me, that is, if the Russians came flying in, which they do, they'll try and come in our airspace, and they come right up to the border of it. We fly straight out to them, turn them round. That's obviously a defence significance, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So something that's actually coming into your airspace has got to be. It's got to be, hasn't it? It can't be anything else.
Well, you can go back to 9/11, really, can't you? You've got these three massive people carrying jets, two of them which hit the Twin Towers, and one which hits the Pentagon. The Pentagon have got what they got, radars and everything protecting it. It's,
Well, yeah, you think so, yeah.
I don't think so, but a plane managed to still get there. And,
Yeah,
well,
that's
so
it.
they say.
And then they say,
It crashed.
The fighter jets were in the
We'll
vicinity.
save that one for another day because
That's
really
that's an whole show on its own.
Definitely.
But this Bill Cooper fellow, you know, he come out 2 weeks before he died. He come out and basically said that this is all true, and he gave loads of. I think it was on a live broadcast as well. But he said like what he'd seen and all this about the aliens taking people and using them. Are they used in experiments? If you're finding body parts, is that experiments or is that food?
Depends, doesn't it, really? Is it for experiments to see how far we've evolved, or is it for food, or is it for them to keep them alive? We're sustaining them, using our blood, using our body parts, you don't know.
This leads on to the cattle mutilation, which people take as being aliens doing that. To me, I've not seen one case of cattle mutilation that can't be explained by natural causes. If you look, and this is the reason why I say that, is because if you look at these alleged mutilated cattle, you'll always see that it's always the upside of the cow. So if the cow's laid on its left side, for instance, the left eye will still be intact. It'll be the right eye, which is the eye exposed, is the one that's missing, and so forth with the jaw strip and all that. It's never both sides. Now, if you're an alien, you can make a simple decision that you instead of taking two cows to get two eyes, you're going to take one cow and take both its eyes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It goes without saying, doesn't it?
So
why you just take the old cow, wouldn't you, really?
And I know people have said, oh yeah, well I saw the cow, last time I saw it was 8 o'clock at night, and then in the morning it was there and it was all dead and all that, but you know, that's just...
Yeah, who was it that was trying to debunk that though? It was some guy who's like using different little insects and stuff like that, but it was too quick. From when it last was seen until it found the next day.
So he was saying that insects couldn't do it in that time?
You couldn't do it in that time.
I mean, I watched the programme and it was in Africa, but they actually put an elephant carcass. I think this elephant was come from a zoo, and they dumped this elephant carcass in the middle of the savannah or whatever, and within literally minutes of them dumping it, and it was at dusk like, but in literally minutes of them dumping it, there was hyenas there and all the rest of it. So they actually was going through the anus of the elephant. Hyenas were putting their heads inside to actually pull out the good stuff. Fruit.
But
now, if you scale that down to known animals, you're talking about cows and stuff. Yeah, a fox is going to be able to get its head in there if it wants. And then you're talking about eternal organs being removed, and there's no holes being made. Well, if you're going through the anus, you're not going to make an hole.
You would know if somebody had gone through its ass. You know what I mean? You'll see it. The hole's not very big, you know what I mean? And that's massive. Fucking fucked up.
I know, I think it closes back up.
Yeah, would it though? It's dead. So would it? Would you know?
Yeah, I think it'd still have a bit of elasticity.
Well, you could do, but have you ever seen a fox do that? Foxes are scavengers, mate.
Well, no, I don't know if anybody's ever filmed it. I presume they would. I think if an hyena's worked it out, I think a fox is pretty cool.
Well, we should find ourselves a dead cow, put it in the field and set a camera and see if a fox goes up.
Well, that's what used to be done, I think.
Yeah, I think it does,
yeah. And it's the other ones where they say, like, this was cut with lasers. And
yeah, some of the incisions is like that one was covered about the one, I can't remember where it was, but the horse. Well, they said it was satanic ritual. Yeah. It was a nice clean cut and everything. It was crazy.
Yeah, that was down south somewhere.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and it was just crazy how they took the air and that, and how part of the mouth had missed.
Yeah, again, it's the air holes. But I mean, horses.
Well, if you're gonna eat something, you're not gonna mess about, are you? You're just gonna eat it. But what's the point?
You know, horses do get tangled up in bad wire from time to time. If it put its head through and tried to pull its head back, air hole was caught on it, then. You know, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad right there, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. But to be discussed.
Definitely. And the only other thing on the mutilations is a lot of these mutilations that happen in the States happen around areas where Bigfoot.
Yeah, no, Bigfoot. I like the idea of Bigfoot. I do.
And I'm not saying he's taking eyeballs and that, but if
it's one of them myths I'd like to keep.
And you know, like Bigfoots are meant to grab hold of air holes to have sexual encounters with cows. You'll have one Bigfoot.
Everyone's got to get the jolly somehow, haven't they, mate?
You'll have one Bigfoot at the head end, holding on to lug holes and that, and the other Bigfoot at the rear end doing what it's doing, and that's where air holes are being removed.
Yeah, but that's one myth I'd like to keep.
But literally, that if you could see that cow 6 in the afternoon, you could go in for your dinner. Bigfoot could come, have its way with a cow, rip its hair rolls off. It's dead because its neck's broken. And like some of these cases they say, oh, it looked like it was dropped from the height. Its bones were crushed. Well, if a Bigfoot, you're talking some of these Bigfoots. People talk about ranged from, you're talking 6 foot to 9 foot. Incredible strength. But if that grabs hold of a cow around the neck, it's going to crush it.
Right, definitely, Bigfoot's one of them, but it could also be a UFO. Sucked it up, done had its way with a cow, and just gone, nah, don't need it, dead. Boom.
And that's the other bit I don't get. If they're taking cows for experiments, there has been a few.
Perhaps they've been warned.
What, that they have to leave the body?
Yeah, no, perhaps they've been warned, leave the human alone instead of chopping us up, because we're going to be needed for something bigger and better in the future, or something worse. You never know.
So they can just take cows.
Yeah.
But that comes back to Bill Cooper, because he's the one that's saying that in some of these, and I've heard an SAS, former SAS soldier say the same thing, but Bill Cooper was saying that there's UFOs with body parts in, and then obviously straight after he's saying all this, he dies in pretty bizarre circumstances.
I would say so.
Yeah, a gunfight with
the police.
And this is the police who were meant to be issuing an arrest warrant and turn up dressed as
Jobs.
Yeah, turn up dressed as teenagers.
Chavs who really like to
and expect someone not to run away.
What are you doing? You know what I mean?
If loads of yobs come out of the bushes at you.
It's like, if you got a warrant for someone's arrest, like any police officer, you'll go knock on the door, I've got a warrant for your arrest.
Yeah.
Come with me, please.
And I know they say, oh yeah, but he was meant to be dangerous and all this, and I can't see any evidence really that he's ever threatened anybody other than their say so. There's no recorded evidence.
Well, he apparently shot a police officer twice in the head, but this police officer managed to survive.
Yeah, and he shot him in the head as he was running away.
Or did he shoot him in the head before?
If he had the gun on him before he got to his house, because he was meant to have shot him on the porch, if he has the gun on him when they pull him over, all these jobs, why don't you use it then?
Yeah.
He's trying to get back to his house because he wants to
go home.
And then you've got a police officer there saying that he actually see him with his hands up in the air surrendering as he was driving away. So anyway, that's where we'll leave it today, and we might cover the alien abductions, I think, next week.
Yeah, I like alien abductions. Some of them are sound days, but some of them you're just like,
not cow.
Yeah.
But we only hear about the people who get.
That's a subject where you believe it or you don't. Subject.
Well, it's like most things, I suppose. Yeah, but that's a subject where Sorry.
No, I don't know what you was going to say. What was you going to say? Only you know what you're going to say. No, it's going to be interesting, like.
Yeah, but So the only problem is with the alien abduction subjects is you only hear from the people who return. Obviously, you don't hear from the people.
If you go, we'll have to do some research into it, like, because I want to go back. I mean, right back to when all these pilots in World War II was disappearing and not returned and nothing like that.
Yeah.
And everything like that.
People have definitely gone missing. But anyway, so that's us signing out for this week. So join us next week. And don't forget to send us your stories. And the email is dbtopodcast@gmail.com.
Bye-bye.